to start in a seated position for our class today. And if you want to grab a yoga block, that'll be helpful if you like to use that. And I will also be using it for some of the mat work we'll be doing. Your mat, of course, if you'd like to have a water bottle, keep that close. And also a blanket or a rolled up towel, anything that you would like to use for under your knees, because we'll be doing some of our mat work on the knees and we'd like to take care of them. And just that reminder that whatever areas we're taking care of, we want to think of in a positive way, in a proactive way, and not just that it's bad or hurting and that we can't do anything about it, because we can. And there are modifications and there are just mindsets that we can adopt and change in how we think about whatever it is we're taking care of. And specifically, knees, hips, and back are the main areas that not only will there be different options, but there will be just that reminder to always take good care of ourselves. We appreciate and are thankful for our bodies that we have here on this earth. So let's go ahead and move to our mat. Get comfortable in a seated position. And just remembering which leg we're going to bring in front first. Find our music. And as we come into this seated position, sitting tall through the crown of our head, imagine that primary line down the center of the body, which of course we do have a spine, but then even beyond that, the crown of our head, through the tailbone, in that lengthening, sitting tall, neutral chin posture, that alignment that is not just a posture health reminder, but it's also mental, it's also emotional, and just aligning our hearts and our minds. Let's take a couple of breaths here with our palms resting up. Maybe even close your eyes to block out any distractions, to get our minds more focused with our breath, checking in with any areas there might be extra tension, tightness, injury, extra work we've done in the last few days, and just acknowledge that. Let your right ear move towards right shoulder. Left hand towards the floor, and right hand can come up and over. And then we'll switch sides, coming back to center, left ear towards left shoulder. So our intention is to open up the right side of the neck, and as our right hand feels heavy and moves towards the floor, you'll feel a little more lengthening down the right side. Left hand creates just a little weight on the side of the head. We're not pushing or forcing any deeper. And And as we come back to center, let's interlace fingers, turn the palms out. Just opening up the hands, bending at the wrists, spreading fingers wide, and then slowly lifting. We can take our gaze up, open up the front of the neck at the same time. Relax our jaw, relax our eyes. Take a couple of breaths here. A little micro bend in our elbows, and then maybe just kind of flow a little side to side or reach a little taller. What feels good to you today in your body? The body you've been given, it's a good body. Reach in one more time, a little taller, and then we'll start to move the hands towards the chest. On our next exhale, we're bringing them down and in. Let the chin tuck in towards the chest. Maybe even squeeze elbows back a teeny bit more. And then releasing. We'll bring our arms back up on our inhale and hands behind our head. Just make a little cradle and tilt right elbow. Exhale. And then back to center, switching sides. And then back to center. We're going to bring our feet in, lift the knees, and walk our hands behind us. Open up the heart, lifting. Squeeze into the shoulder blades and taking our gaze up. We're letting the chin lift and open up the front of the neck. So just go where that's comfortable for you today, especially in the spring if we're taking care of any sinus congestion. Lift the heart a little bit more, squeeze shoulder blades, which opens up the chest. Good. And then slowly come back to center. And we're coming back to that seated position where we started, and we're going to switch our feet. So whichever one you had in front, we'll tuck in closer now. Bring the opposite leg out in front. And in our seated, we're going to do a little breath exercise. On our inhale, lifting the arms. Exhale, we'll bring the fists in towards the waist. Really draw the belly in, compressing back towards the spine on our exhale. Let the arms feel light. The stomach is strong. The stomach is working. Squeeze elbows back. So you can exaggerate a little more heart space opening up. Maybe even pause at the top, a little retention, and then we're exhaling. Squeeze. 2 more. And then this last one. We're going to use this opportunity to move into a spinal twist. Crossing over, let's bring one hand behind us, sitting tall, we're twisting. Maybe even find that neutral chin again. As we're looking towards the back end of our mat or towards the wall. And we'll come back to center, twisting to the opposite side, creating length as we lift on our inhale. And that's the axis that we're spinning on, that primary line. So then come back to center. In our seated position, maybe just walk your hands or your fingertips a few inches in front. Lengthen through the spine. Maybe lift the tailbone. Move a little side to side. Just preparing to move into the hips and circle. One direction, then the other. And then as you feel ready, we're going to be moving to all fours. So you can slide the block out, keep it close by. We'll be using it. And on all fours, we'll be coming into some cat-cows. Add a little extra padding under the knees. Slide your blanket or towels under the knees, singular or plural, whichever that is for you today. On all fours, we're stacking the joints, shoulders above wrists, hips above knees, fingers spread wide, and then just slowly flow into cat-cow. Exhale, cow. Relax the neck. Let your chin round in. Inhale to lift a cow. And then back into cat. Partnering with our yoga breath here. In through the nose and out through the nose. Draw your belly in. Each exhale gives us that opportunity. Really compress all the air out. And if you've never practiced at home, take this opportunity to practice that yoga breathing and get obnoxious with it. Get a little exaggerating and really find where that makes a difference in the practice of not just calming and focus, but engaging and working from the core. So we'll start to move into some circles, circle to the side and back. And you can start as big as you like or as small as you like. And change directions from center, switch sides. We're going to be moving into a kneeling warm-up, forward and back, a kneeling half series. It's just starting with plank and child's pose. Forward and back. Exhale, hips back towards our heels. Arms extending long. We'll just keep our hands in that same spot and our knees. And when you're ready, sprinkle in a crocodile. Maybe even just a baby crocodile, and hold and press back up and exhale back to child's pose. Or if you like to continue to flow, move on into cobra from there. With those baby crocodiles, woo, can work the arms, squeeze elbows in, straighten back up, and this time can go on into cobra. And there's just always that opportunity you have to customize your practice, areas that you know that you want to either work on or take care of. So just always keeping that in mind as we listen to our bodies, or just also encouraging our bodies to move, to get stronger, to work with our breath. That rhythm, find that unforced rhythm for life. And again, can pause. Maybe child's pose is inviting you to just stretch a little more, work into the hips. You can walk your arms over to the right side, left arm by left ear. Extend it as long as you can. And then switching sides. So then we're going to be moving back to all fours. This is where you can use your block to put it on the middle of your back, just as another balance option. And help us with our awareness. So you can just lay it across low back, and at all fours where we're stacking our joints, right angles. We'll start with right arm and right leg and left arm. Extend the right leg lifted to hip height. Flex, hold. Then left arm, reaching out. Lengthening in opposing directions, and then we're drawing the belly in. Holding. Good job. And we're switching sides. Left leg, hip height, flex. Right arm, draw the belly in. Releasing. Nice. Can come back into child's pose. Soften low back. Or it can be puppy pose, where we're stacking hips over the knees. Either one of those. Let your forehead rest. Relax into shoulders and arms, or maybe that same little circle movement in the hips, in child's pose, or just some forward and back. Or there's always the option to, if you want to stay active, flow through half series, Keep working and strengthening upper body. As we're coming to child's pose, meeting in child's pose, we're moving back to all fours. Lifting right knee, and we're going to bring the knee in slowly towards the chest, in towards the nose. We're exhaling, keep the knee tracking in the same plane. Inhale and lift. Lift the chin, take your gaze further away. Strong leg hold, draw the belly in, and then exhaling, we're going to still maintain. Inhaling, lifting. Maybe flex your foot. Squeeze that glute. One more, you can do this. And lift. Holding here. We're keeping our hips across the front here, level. We're not swinging that leg up, but just keep it squared, the hip, front of the hip towards the floor. And release. Oh, nice. Go ahead and take a little child's pose stretch or a cat-cow. Just find where you can release any of the tension we've just created so we can keep on working with strength and focus. We still have another side to do. So we lift the left leg. Flex. Exhale, knee in for 4. Inhaling as we're lifting. Squeeze the glute. Flex that foot, draw the belly in. Then slowly bring it back forward. 2 more. How much muscle can we engage, activate, work within, rather than just relying on momentum and gravity? Create, build strength here. Hold. Nice. And back in. And release. Child's pose. Cat and cow. And then lift the right knee. Turn your knee out and squeeze towards elbow. Take your knee towards the floor. Back and lift. Out, forward, down, back. Bending up, out, forward, down. One more and hold. And release. Child's pose, and then we're going to change and do that on the other side. So we've got our left leg lifting out, forward, down, and back. Up, forward, down, and back. Up, take it out, and then forward, down. Holding this time. And release. So this time, we're coming back to child's pose or flow with half series, but let's maybe take the knees a little bit wider. Frog. Or if you like puppy pose, maybe even take your knees a little bit wider and puppy pose. Stacking fists. So you're lifting hips, maybe just some forward and back. Sometimes it's just even in soft fluid movements with our breath, we're going to create a little more space. So there'll be a softer flexibility that comes in, and there'll be a release. Sometimes there's a little pop, or you just feel like, oh, that feels better now. As long as there's no pain, that's okay there. All right, so from child's pose, puppy pose, or a little flow, we're coming back to all fours and kneeling side plank. So from all fours, again, stacking our joints, we're going to extend right leg long and then open out left foot like our kickstand. Coming up. Maybe you want to try extended with your foot touching the floor. Can work on a shoulder opener. Or maybe lift right leg to hip height. Flex, hold. Pressing down through left hand, rising up through right. So think in opposites, opposing directions, and then right leg towards the wall, and the crown of our head is the opposite direction. And we're releasing, we're going to reach back for right ankle, foot. Use your towel if you want to make a strap here. And release. Child's pose again. Or plank, child's pose, flow to lengthen. Move some of that tension out. Switching sides. We'll be coming back to the other side here. Or maybe you want to flow through half series. So just take your options here. And then as we get ready from all fours, we're going to move into the kneeling side plank, extend left leg. Right foot, right arm is our foundation. Stacking shoulder and wrist from shoulder to the floor or directly above. And same with left shoulder directly over right. Then maybe add left leg. And again, as you're pressing down through the right hand, there's that active hand down, left arm reaching up, opposite directions, drawing the belly in, long through the left leg and through the crown of our head. That neutral chin, soft face. So you have the option to engage and activate as many areas as you want to, as you can, and as you grow in that. Nice. Now we're going to reach back. Left hand to left ankle. Nice. And then back to center. Release into child's pose. Or flow. And so from our child's pose, we're going to move to our belly, prone on our mat. And cobra. Little extra work here. So on our bellies, legs are long. Let's take our hands back like little tail feathers, palms up. Lift your feet, lift your head, holding. And release. Let your shoulders round towards the mat. Maybe even rest the one side of your face. Soften your toes in towards each other to release the glutes. And we'll start to come back to pointy toes. Maybe even press down to through your knees. Squeeze the glutes. That anticipation. And then hands in under the shoulders. Lifting. And this time, let's do alternating. Tap one foot, then the other. And release. Rest the other side of your face. Palms down. Or back of your hands, palms up. And then back to center. We'll bring our arms into front. Dolphin arms, making a tripod. We're going to start to move into a dolphin plank. And so the emphasis is going to be getting our belly up off the floor, whether we're on our knees in a kneeling option, or whether we're going to come up into a full body and lift the knees up off the floor as well. So it could be knees on the mat, or it can be knees up off the mat. Holding, pressing down. And release. Sphinx pose on our forearms, toes in. Breath. And exhale over shoulder. Big full inhale, exhaling over left shoulder. And then back to center. We'll bring our hands in under the shoulders, crocodile arms, where elbows are right above the wrists. Inhaling, lifting, holding, strong foundation, soften our face, shoulders are back. Maybe up dog, knees from the floor. And release. Child's pose and exhale. Maybe moving fluid here, half series, or some cat cows. What feels good to you today in your body? If we've got some tight arches in our feet, some cramps, can sit back on our heels stretching. Just letting our weight settle back onto the heels for a bigger stretch into the arches of the feet. This one feels really good when my feet want to cramp up. Maybe adding another chest expansion. Open up the heart here. Look up towards the ceiling. Some other options for our feet. If at any point that's too much, come back into the feet can be flat. Or take your blanket or towel and let's bring it between the knees. This is a really nice little prop to try. You'll be surprised. So it's like child's pose with having this back here to soften, and it elevates the hips just a little bit more too. So that's just another option. Even if you're on your knees on a blanket, you can add another one rolled up under your, in the hamstrings, in the back of the knees, or for any of the coming up, like Huber pose, or with the toes curling under. Just that extra cushion there as we take care of our bodies, take care of areas where there's tension, tightness, arthritis maybe going on, or just whatever's in our bodies that we want to still acknowledge but create space to work within that rather than being frustrated or giving up. So it allows us to keep moving forward. We're going to come on to our mats. There's just a little bit more work here. Boat pose is going to be our next one. So coming onto our bottom, we'll bring our legs, our knees in. And sitting tall in boat pose, find the length through your spine, chin neutral. So for a little extra work here, we can hug a yoga block between our thighs and turn it tall. We use the purple one where you can see it a little better for contrast. Squeezing, shoulders stay back, and just start with some alternating toe taps. I'll turn sideways. You want to keep shoulders and spine in a nice line, chin neutral. Drawing the belly in. And maybe add some little lifts and down. Work with your breath. You can try it tall, the squeeze. Let me try it without the block. Maybe even holding, extending. And then move into some twists. Hands to our sides. Exhale to the right. Extend in the middle. Exhale to the left. One more each side. And butterfly. Soles of feet together. Knees open out. Can flap your little butterfly wings. We'll be moving to bridge pose on our backs. So for today, if you have a blanket or a towel, I just want to invite you to try this. Your blanket or towel long on your mat. And then create a little bolster for your neck, closest to your body. So I'm going to fold mine up about a third and then another third. And this is going to be the bolster behind my neck and shoulders, and my head is still going to be on this blanket. I have my yoga block close by. So as I come down to my mat, I can wiggle around to where that's comfortable, supporting my neck and the back of my head. So with our yoga block, bring it between the legs, squeeze, and then lift. Hips away from the floor, keep holding, press down through your feet. And then exhale super slow. Lower your hips back to the mat. Let your back fully relax. Melt into the mat. Soften all the way up. Then work again. Start with pressing down through your feet. Squeeze the glutes. So it's a combination, a collaboration, working with the legs, the feet, and the low back. From the waist down, lots and lots of work. Then super slow, keep hugging your block and back to the mat. Relax the spine all the way from your tailbone up to your shoulders. We're going to do this 2 more times. Strong legs, strong from the waist down. Squeeze. Slowly lower back to the mat with control. And there we go. Soften, release. 1 more time. Squeeze with everything you have. Squeezing the block. Press down. And then we're slowly coming back to the mat. And release. We'll bring our knees in. Give ourselves a big hug. And just gradually move to one leg extended, resting it on the mat. Hug the other. We'll come in and switch sides. Hug the right knee and resting left leg. Rest it long on the mat. Start to slide that left foot in and cross over in figure 4 and thread your arms through, hugging left leg as you bring it in towards the chest. Flexing right foot to stabilize and protect our knees, especially if we're taking care of our knees. And then we'll take both knees to the left side in a spinal twist. You can open out right arm, connect through our wrist and elbow and shoulder. And take our gaze to the right side. we'll come back to center. We'll be switching sides. So let's cross left ankle to the right knee. Thread around and through to hug. On our backs with figure 4 or pigeon pose allows us to have choices in taking care of hips, low back, and knees. Those important joints without bringing weight, body weight into the stretch. And if you want to go deeper, you're welcome to do a forward folding pigeon. It's the same stretch. Or invite or bring in a strap or your hand towel into the legs. Wrap that around and bring the legs in a little closer. You can adapt these to your body, to where you are in your body for today. And we're going to take this into a spinal twist, both knees to the right side. And then open out left arm, connecting. So we especially want to connect the joints, the shoulder, elbow, and wrist, and right hip. And then when you're ready, you can come into a final resting pose on your back. We'll take a few minutes here, resting, or if you'd like to use the wall. If you have access to a wall, you can do legs up the wall. And I'm going to demonstrate today the legs up the wall with the same neck roll under the neck and under the shoulders. So we're just going to come here, this last song, 5 minutes, resting on our backs. And I'm going to demonstrate again, if you want to do the sliding up to a wall with your little neck roll. So I'm going to still have part of it long where my head will be, and this roll is going to be underneath my neck. So we come to the wall the same way we always do. And if you want to have another blanket under the hips or bolster, feel free to do that as well. Just make your way down to your elbows, low back, and then swing around. So welcome to my yoga room. The wallpaper is for legs up the wall. Wallpaper is making a comeback, I hear. So we can add the arms and goalpost if we're in legs up the wall, and all the wonderful options we can do with our legs, or maybe in our final resting pose on our backs, finding what's comfortable for you, staying here for a few minutes. Checking in and scanning our bodies. Any tension, any tightness, or areas that we're taking care of. Just check in. How did I do today? If you have a question or a concern, take note. Check in with me. If there's other options we can try. That's my job to find those. But our final resting pose is the most important finale, the grand finale of our practice. After we've worked, we've balanced, we've stretched and done flexibility, we've strengthened, we've done a lot of breath work, breathing from the core, engaging the core. So this is the reward. We're celebrating coming to our practice. Maybe we didn't feel like it initially, but we feel better now. So just acknowledge as you scan your body, and allow yourself to say, good job, well done. Start to wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe roll to a side lying position. Taking your time. And then as you feel ready, come up to seated. And sitting tall, we'll circle our head one direction and then the other. And coming back to center. Let's inhale and reach tall. And exhale, hands to heart. And thank you. Have a blessed day. And thank you for joining me wherever you are, wherever I am in this class for today.